As racing game series go, they don't come much bigger than Gran Turismo. It's been going for more than 20 years now and has racked up tens of millions of sales across the 7 main releases and the prologue and concept versions. If you've ever played a PlayStation, chances are you've played one of the Gran Turismos at some point, with its emphasis on fancy graphics and accurate driving simulation. Basically, you buy a car, win some races, buy more cars, tune them up, win more races, win more cars, win every race, own every car, the end. For me, the first one I played was Gran Turismo 3. This was the series debut on the PS2 and came out in 2001, and as I currently don't own Gran Turismo 1 or 2, we're going to have to start here. Now this is a big old game. Back then I only managed to get to about 60% completion over about 3 years, and sadly that save file is long gone. So let's start a new game from scratch and I'll take you through the strategy I used to reach such dizzying heights. You start on the map screen with 18,000 credits to your name, and the first thing you need to do is buy a car from the dealership. There's no used cars available yet, that comes along in Gran Turismo 4, so you're buying brand new off the shelf. As you can imagine, 18 grand doesn't get you very much, and there's only a few cars you can afford at the beginning. You have to ignore the Astons, the Dodge Vipers, the Jaguars, and plump for something a little more modest. I usually went for a Mazda MX-5. It was pretty nippy and looked a bit flash. It's certainly a lot more attractive than the PT Cruiser, which was the popular starting choice for many people, but it just looks like arse to me. Once you've bought your car, you're probably out of money, so it's time to start racing to pick up some big cash prizes. The easiest thing to do is jump straight into the Sunday Cup, where you'll be up against some of the other crap starting cars. The first race is 3 laps of the Oval Super Speedway, where there's a surprisingly large crowd to watch what is essentially just 6 average road cars go round in a circle for less than 3 minutes. These people are very easily pleased. Now Gran Turismo 3 has a pretty cool soundtrack with some proper decent songs on it. It was this game that introduced me to Feeder, but for reasons of YouTube I've had to turn it off, so please enjoy the rights-free music in the background instead. There's no need to brake on this one, just keep your thumb pressed on the X button and as long as you don't do anything stupid, you'll win. Next up is the midfield raceway, where there's some actual proper corners to contend with. At the sort of speeds the Mazda's pulling, it's not too difficult, and pretty soon I'm at the front. With the Sunday Cup races you get 1,000 credits for a win, so I'm starting to build up my bank balance again. The final race of this championship is at Trial Mountain, which is one of the most well-known tracks in the series, with lots of trees, lots of cliffs and a lot of undulation. It's also got an amazing final corner which you can use as a ramp to get up onto 2 wheels. If you had a fast enough car, I reckon you could hit that bridge. Now one thing Gran Turismo 3 doesn't have is damage. It doesn't matter how hard you ram the other cars or plough into the barriers, you won't leave a dent. In fact, it wouldn't be until 2010 and the PS3 era that damage would be introduced on Gran Turismo 5. How crazy is that? Once you've won all 3 races, you're rewarded with a brand new car. Ooh, what's it going to be? Maybe an Alfa Romeo 156? Or a Mitsubishi Evo? Or some kind of Merc? Oh, it's a relic of the 1980s. Thanks. It's actually a Toyota Sprinter Trueno, Tragic, and, well, I suppose you could sell it and spend the money doing up the Mazda. You know what, I'm going to try and use it. Let's see if we can win a championship with this thing. However, it's definitely going to need a tune-up, and as I've got a bit of cash, let's see what improvements we can make. You can go into the shop and there's lots of different things you can do for various amounts of money. Now, I don't really know anything about the technical side of cars, I just like racing them. So I don't know, let's strap on a new flywheel and plonk in a racing chip and see what happens. This is definitely tougher than the last championship. I'm keeping up, but I'm not getting ahead. I've somehow managed to salvage second in that one, but you don't get the car at the end unless you win every race, so a bit more tuning might be required. I've improved the engine and made it lighter, so let's see what happens. Well, I've been more competitive, but I'm still only second with 1 corner to go. I really don't want to have to do this one again. I don't think the bloke in the MR2 will be particularly happy with that move, but never mind. Unfortunately, my TV doesn't really like displaying PS2 games for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's racist. So they always end up appearing much darker than they should. As such, this track was more challenging than intended. Anyway, I ended up second again, so let's leave the races for now and move on to what else Gran Turismo 3 has to offer. Further on in the game, you're going to need licenses to compete in the more prestigious races. There's 5 main ones which you progress through, and the rally one, which rather unsurprisingly lets you do rallies. Basically, you're set a bunch of mini challenges, which gradually get tougher. I've run through the B licence here, and you go from driving in a straight line and braking, all the way to going around a couple of corners. Rigorous testing indeed. There's also the machine test section, which just lets you try out all of the cars you own to work out which is the fastest. I've maxed the Mazda out to 224 km/h, so let's see what the Toyota will do. It actually had slightly better acceleration than the Mazda, but in the end it dipped out at just shy of 216 kph. And finally there's the maintenance shop, which lets you wash your car and change the oil. You can also spend the last of your money on some fancy rims if you like. That just about covers the main game. There's an arcade mode too where you can race different cars on different tracks, unlocking more as you win on each one. There's the time attack mode as well, which lets you drive on the insanely twisty complex string circuit. I actually managed a clean lap on only my second attempt at recording this, which I was very impressed with myself about. You can play Gran Turismo free for hours, or in my case years. It's still good fun today and I think it's held up well even compared to some of the newer versions. It can get a little repetitive, especially in the later stages when you're able to win everything easily, and it would have been nice not to have to wait until the 2010s to get damage. But there's a reason why this is one of the best selling racing games of all time, because it's pretty good.